The PlayStation 4's life cycle is most likely in its last third. Even so, the best exclusives are yet to come. I know I'm repeating myself, but I truly believe the next 2 years will feature one of the strongest exclusive lineups PlayStation fans have ever seen. 2018 is already reserved for the return of God of War in April, shortly followed by Quantic Dream's Android drama Detroit Become Human in May. Media Molecule's Dreams might finally see the light of day sometime this year, and to top it all off, Spider-Man will swing through our living rooms in September. But it doesn't stop there. 2019 promises to be just as impressive thanks to high-caliber exclusives like the much-anticipated sequel to The Last of Us, Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, and brand new open-world titles like Days Gone and Ghost of Tsushima. Sony's portfolio is rock solid, that's for sure, given the recent reveal of Spider-Man's release date and the fact that by and large we know about every major PS4 exclusive for the next 2 years. I started asking myself a question. When this console generation comes to an end, which of Sony's many exclusives will turn out to be the most successful? Which PS4 exclusive will be Sony's most productive goldmine? So, to be absolutely clear, I'm referring to financial success only. The critical reception is a topic for another day. As you may have guessed by the title of this video, I think there are good reasons to assume that Insomniac Spider-Man could be a hot contender in this highly competitive race. Whichever way you look at it, Spidey has the potential to outsell even the most prestigious titles under Sony's umbrella. Of course, it should go without saying that I'm just speculating here. Ultimately, one can't predict the financial success of a game with absolute certainty. But it definitely makes for an interesting thought experiment. So here are 5 reasons why Spider-Man could turn out to be the PS4's best-selling exclusive. Number 1. Superhero boom. Let's get the obvious out of the way. I don't know if you've noticed, but superheroes are doing fairly well at the box office nowadays. Each year a new flood of MCU and DCU movies hits the theaters, and each year I ask myself, when will it end? Superhero movies have been dominating the pop culture for over a decade, and in light of Black Panther and the upcoming Avengers Infinity War, this trend isn't going to change anytime soon. While superheroes have been thriving in the movie cosmos, surprisingly enough, their representation in video games is still sparse, to say the least. Needless to say, Insomniac Spider-Man will profit a great deal from the current superhero boom and strong demand for similar experiences within the video game medium. Insomniac is riding a powerful wave right now. For that reason alone, Spider-Man is sure to be a smash hit for Sony's console. But there's more. Number 2. Insomniac's name. Names can carry a lot of weight. For many gamers, Insomniac stands for high-quality IPs and represents one of the few studios which can look back at an impressive catalog of memorable franchises. But even more importantly than the high-quality standard of Insomniac's games is the type of experience most of these games embrace. There's one element that unites the vast majority of Insomniac's franchises. You can see it in Spyro, the series that brought Insomniac on the map. And you can still see it today in more recent games like Sunset Overdrive and the Ratchet & Clank remake. The first word that comes to mind when I hear the name Insomniac is fun. Insomniac's games are pure fun. Apart from resistance, the worlds and characters Insomniac creates are colorful, light-hearted, and always a little bit quirky. The energetic and enjoyable gameplay loop of Sunset Overdrive and Ratchet & Clank are exactly what a great Spider-Man game needs. Due to the fun nature of their games and Insomniac's long-standing tradition of developing experiences exclusively for PlayStation consoles, I couldn't imagine a better candidate. Spider-Man and Insomniac games are a match made in heaven. Gamers who are familiar with the type of games Insomniac stands for will be far more inclined to buy a copy of Spider-Man without fearing the final product might not deliver what they want from a Spider-Man game. Number 3. Original story. That's not really a major selling point, but licensed video games have a bad reputation within the gaming community. Much like video game adaptations in the movie business, many games based on a popular license try to copy and paste the same story and aesthetic of its source material, instead of using it as a foundation to build your own unique vision, like you should. Rocksteady's outstanding Arkham series profits from exactly this freedom to take the legacy of Batman and put their own spin on it. Apparently, Insomniac enjoys the same creative freedom. This isn't Sam Raimi's Spider-Man or Mark Webb's Spider-Man. It's not even Stan Lee's Spider-Man. It's Insomniac's Spider-Man. Much like Arkham Asylum established Rocksteady's special take on Batman. Spider-Man's original story boosts confidence. Number 4. Rocksteady changed things.
There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever.
Rocksteady is responsible for the most acclaimed superhero franchise in the game industry, and the impact it had on people's perception of superhero games can't be ignored. In a way, Spider-Man has the benefit and misfortune to exist in a post-Arkham world. Misfortune because Rocksteady has set the bar for such games incredibly high, and benefit because the stigma of awful superhero games has been reduced significantly thanks to the Arkham series. Rocksteady showed everyone how it's done and left behind a perfect template other talented developers can utilize and modify. The success of Rocksteady's Dark Knight further strengthens the belief in Insomniac's title. Number 5. People are hungry. Spider-Man has made numerous appearances on almost every gaming platform. Unfortunately, the bulk of Spider-Man games is outright terrible or mediocre. Spider-Man 2 was surprisingly good, but it was released 14 years ago. So one could make the argument the last great Spider-Man game was released during PlayStation 2 days, which means people are hungry for a proper return of the iconic superhero. It's about time. So there you go, 5 aspects which could turn Spider-Man into Sony's most successful exclusive title. Even if Spider-Man doesn't take the top spot, I believe we can all agree that Insomniac's highly anticipated PS4 exclusive is bound to be a huge win for Sony. The popularity of Spider-Man as a character and the enormous talent of the studio bringing him to life seems like a recipe for success. There are only a handful of PS4 exclusives that have the potential to beat Spider-Man in terms of sales numbers. As of right now, Uncharted 4 is Sony's uncontested number 1, as was to be expected. Nathan Drake's Last Adventure sold 8.7 million copies after less than a year, which is an insane number for a title bound to one platform only. Since the release of Uncharted 4 dates back 2 years, it's safe to assume the game must have passed the 10 million copies sold margin. Uncharted 4 is the game Spider-Man has to outdo sales-wise. Horizon Zero Dawn was remarkably successful as well, considering it's a new IP. The way I see it, from the remaining PS4 exclusives, only God of War, The Last of Us Part 2 and Death Stranding play in the same league. Death Stranding is definitely a meaningful event for the gaming community, given the fact that it represents Kojima's first new IP since Metal Gear. However, it's also not as mainstream as God of War or Spider-Man. Kojima's imagination is a bizarre and fearful place not everyone wants to visit. God of War is a well-established franchise, but the strong deviation from previous God of War titles could put off some fans. So my bet is on The Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog is at the height of their power and the hype surrounding the game is overwhelming. We also have to take into consideration that the PS4 sales keep growing by the day, meaning even more PS4s will be in circulation once Last of Us Part 2 hits the shelves. Despite all of that, I don't think it's impossible for Spider-Man to outsell them all. At any rate, I'm totally guessing here. It's just a gut feeling. Ultimately, all I really care about is the game's final quality. But as I've stated before, Insomniac is the perfect developer for the project. Last year I made a video essay in which I try to explain why I'm not a fan of the MCU's connected universe approach. You will find the link in the video description below. In this video I uttered my concern regarding Insomniac Spider-Man because I couldn't rule out the possibility that Marvel would apply its shared universe concept to the video game world. Now I can be absolutely sure that's not the case. The more I see of Spider-Man, the more excited and confident I get. But I still stand by my criticism of the MCU on a narrative level. A story without meaningful conflict and change defies great storytelling. But again, Spider-Man is in good hands. I can't wait to get my hands on the game. That concludes today's video. If you enjoyed it, as always, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel and share your opinions and thoughts in the comment section. Do you think I'm completely overestimating the penetrating power of the game? Are you excited or apprehensive regarding Spider-Man? Feel free to tell me.